Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hawkeye wedge trading session. This is Tuesday, September 22nd. We'll be going from 8 o'clock to about 9 o'clock, and we'll try and get a break. If we get some alerts, we may pass on the breaks, but right now it's been a pretty slow morning. The last alert we've had was at 1:15 this morning. That was a Euro US. We'll take a look at that and see what happened with it. But let's get these disclaimers out of the way and then we'll get started. Trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trade taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. So, we got that out of the way. Let's go to the charts and we'll see what we have going here. Like I said, we haven't had any alerts at all since 1:15 this morning. So I think it's going to be, right now it's going to be a fairly slow day. We do have some options that what we can work on a little bit if we don't get the alerts. And that is with our RCS tool, we have the ability to see what the, on the different time frames as far as which trades are, which currencies are strong, which ones are not. And let me see if and I'll show you this is what but before I do that, let's go through the calendar. There's a lot of red folders today. There was one at 3:30 this morning with the British pound. There's another one at 10:30. Fed Chairman Powell testifies about something. And then at 10 o'clock, New Zealand, we have some news on New Zealand. These are all red folders. And we'll keep aware of the British pound, the US dollar, which are all of our pairs are tied to the US dollar, and the New Zealand at 10 o'clock. But one thing with our RCS tool, as I was saying earlier, was we have, if I can find it here again. There we go. This is our RCS tool. Basically, it gives us all 8 currency pairs. And you can see that on the different time frames, you have the different strengths relative to the time frame and the other 7 pairs. So on our 4-hour chart, right now it's showing the Japanese yen is strong. The dollar is fairly strong on the 4-hour. The dollar is fairly strong on all 3 charts. So we want to be looking at, for be trading against the dollar, which is what most of our alerts are. We want to be trading to the strength of the dollar. And here's like the Euro US, the dollar's has on our 30-minute chart, which is the one right down here in the gray background. You can see that the dollar is stronger to the euro, and on pretty much all 4 time frames. So we'll be looking at probably taking euro trades more towards the strength of the dollar than anything else. Here's the Euro US trade. This was at 1:15 this morning. And we'll go ahead and we'll draw this out just so we can see what happened with it. And if there's anything else to be able to take to our advantage. So we're going to mark it at 1:15 this morning. So here's the daybreak. This is the 22nd. So here's 1:15, right about there. This is our, should be yellow. And there's our wedge alert at 1:15. We're on a 15-minute chart. And I was looking at, there's a trend line that developed here from this little peak here over to where near the alert, and then it's still respecting this trend line. So the euro is the Euro US, the dollar is the second pair of the currency of the pair, And therefore we'd be looking to, if the US dollar is strong, we want to be taking that short against the Euro US. And so we have our BD. So basically we have a little bit of a channel developing here between our AC line. This magenta line shows that this top trend line, the AC line, has been validated as being a major support or resistance area. And then and right now this has not been validated. We don't have the extra hit in here. So here's the anchor. We don't have a hit. So this is our first hit. Now, if we look at the wedge based on when the alert happened, we could tuck the D in there. We still don't really have, this would be the hit for before the alert. So that would validate that, but that's already been broken. So this is really where where this thing got broken. And you can see where it broke, came back down, retested the trend line, and now it's basically inside of a wedge that I'm going to be pulling this one down now. And we're just going to see, we're still waiting for this trend line now to be validated. It made a lower low. So we had a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high still. And now it looks like it's giving us another option to see where it's going to do when it comes down to the bottom of here. Right now, this BD line can be, we can draw it, but it's just not validated yet. So I'll put the B here. I'll put this arrow all the way out here because it's not, actually I put it in here because it's not validated. Once I get the third hit, I'll put the arrow at the end of the third hit so I know that that is now a valid trend line. And actually this one I can put over here now. That's the third hit. So here's the anchor. Actually, here's another hit. Here's the third hit. So this line is still validated for the fourth time.
Yeah, if someone was awake to catch that, that was a really nice wedge trade.
Yeah, but that was at 1:50 in the morning, which is pretty much where the new day starts. At 1 o'clock in the morning, that's Europe is starting to get cranking up, and that's usually before the European session opens up.
Absolutely.
So right now we don't really have anything to hang our hat on right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. Right now I'm going to just sort of tag this trend line here, and we'll see what it looks like on a lower time frame chart. And we're seeing that, let's see, from the D is right here. We're going to tweak it up over here on the 5-minute chart. And we'll see it's breaking through this one right here on the 1 minute. Let's see how that looks like if we expand this out. Here's our hit. And so right now we're still looking at, this was valid. This was a nice little, this would have been a nice possible second entry to go short right around this area where all our moving averages have consolidated. And then it broke down. Now it's retesting this trend line right here. We actually had the anchor. This is a subsequent trend with this triangle tool. As we connect it up on the top, validating that, we can bring this other CD line over to where you actually have, that brings that to the apex. So here we have an anchor. Here's a midpoint hit. Here's a break right here. If it does break with the break on that, you could possibly take it to, if it has enough room to the downside. I'm probably not going to take this one, but that's 28 pips. And this is a big wedge right here because there's a big move coming down.
Excuse me.
This is sort of, yes.
Could you like make that line from D to C? It's a question. I'm not saying to do it, but could you make that because it had 3 hits, a purple line for, or no?
Actually, we could. Yeah, we could. I like using the purple ones more for a higher time frame, but this is basically on the 1 minute. But this does show. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that for sure. What it does, it helps to validate that this is a hit here. But now, actually, with that hit right here, we have the anchor. Here's the hit. But now we actually had the break, so we really didn't get the third. Got the third hit, but the third hit broke the trend line. So that's, and actually, I think that's probably significant. All of our moving averages are right on that direction. If
Okay.
we're looking at the moving averages, we have consolidation. They're a little bit out of order. The purple one should be up on top, yellow, and then green. We have the white, yellow, green. And on the 15-minute, we have the orange, green, yellow. So they're all still kind of a little bit out of order. But the good news is that if we were to try and take this short, we have the strength of the dollar on our side, which is we have a 2 to 3 point spread here. We have a 4 point spread here on the RCS. It's coming back in to retest this trend line. I'm not overly crazy about taking it just because the alerts already happened, but this is a nice little pullback to the trend line, and we have room to the downside. So right now it's pretty much trading inside these two purple lines, and we're right in the middle of it right now, and
Excuse
that
me,
could be a little
Al.
bit problematic.
Sorry.
Yes.
Pedro has a question.
Okay,
Good
Pedro.
morning. I am curious if the signal is ascending, shouldn't A start at the bottom of the edge?
It should. Let's see. And I didn't do that, did I? Oh, that's a good catch there, Pedro. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of
A. Oh
difference.
yeah, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, it really shouldn't make a lot. It really doesn't make a huge amount of difference, other than the fact it gives us consistency as far as how we draw these things. But yeah, you're absolutely right, though. This thing probably should have been drawn. The A, there's the B, the C should be up in here. It's probably going to still give us the same picture. Actually, it's not going to. Let's see here. The A, B, actually move the B over here then. A, B, C, come down over, tuck that in, and then take the D on up. I do try and be consistent in here. So that would have been where the break would have happened. So, I mean, it's still the same triangle picture. I'll still pull this back over here. It's still got the break, but right now it's retesting this because this is where it came pulled back up. So with that in mind, now I can, now I can actually, I mean, if I wanted, this trade was already over pretty much. Now the question is there going to be a continuation of this trend? And is it starting to trend now? You have our 62 moving average all the way up here at the top, came back, tested the 62, tested the upper trend line. And you have room in between here, but I said I'm not going to be taking that because I would prefer to just wait and see if it can break down at the bottom right now, since this was the move that the algorithm on the alert gave that to us. But yeah, you're absolutely right, though. This, if it's ascending, I would don't be started here at the bottom. This is where this was the original trend right here. This is where the alert was. Here was the break, and it had a nice little move down coming down there. Now the question is going to be: is this trend going to continue? You can take this on up to this level, and you can see if we can. Let's see. That's pretty much. We have this little. This is a drop, base drop, came back, retested. No, so there's an anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a retest of the trend line. And right now, this thing is trending pretty much. It's in a channel right now, pretty much in a channel descending. I can see where the original move came from all the way up here from yesterday's, or from the overnight. Excuse me, this was yesterday's high, yesterday's low. And it's forming just a little bit of a descending channel. And the question is, we don't know where it's going to turn around. We have to go to our higher time frame to see if we can find a target over here somewhere to see where this thing may stop and turn around. And if you look at your daily charts, this is a daily chart candle. Here's a strong move up. Here's a little basing, came back, retested right here. So I'd be looking at, this would be a target zone of this candle right on this one. And we'll see where that falls on this move right here. We have that candle, and then came back, retested. This was sort of going sideways, but it was making some new highs in the process. And so each one of these wicks, as it was tested, these were all broken. So these don't count anymore. It's already been broken on this overnight move. So this would be the target that I'd be looking at right in here for a potential target for the zone.
Al Pedro has a follow-up. How
Okay.
about putting B at the top of the red candles September 21st at 8 a.m. or it doesn't matter?
Let me take a look at that. Hang on, let me finish drawing this, and I'll get back to that question.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Let's get this over here. Take this over. And we'll take this wick. So these are the two wicks that's looking at that will make this a target zone. And I'll put this back on our 15-minute chart. Now we've identified where a potential target would be. And you can see that it does have some room down to this area. Now back to your question, Pedro. If you said to put the B at the top of the red candle on September 21st, that'd be right here?
At 8 a.m. or
At
it
8
doesn't
a.m.
matter?
That's you can. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with that, because actually the only problem with that would be if you tuck your D in over here, see, would you have a hit? You really don't have the hit in the middle, but you would have it if you have from the anchor where the alert was. You would have a hit here, and then probably you may be able to. I've looked to see where I have the 3 hits. So here would be the anchor. This gives me the hit. This gives me another one. This gives me where the alert was. So basically, from here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches of this trend line. Whereas if I put it up to this one, I really only have 1 touch right here at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I like this one better. But for the higher time frame trend, you can take it up to where this drop base retest. You could take it. Even if you took it if I took it up here, I'd take it up to this one, because that gives me this middle hit here, another hit. I mean, I would like that one or this one right there. So I would say either take it all the way up to this one where the drop, you had the basing, it dropped again, then retested. Or you could take it from here. We have 3 hits. I would say the 4 o'clock candle on the 21st would be better than the red candle.
Yeah, even what's happening here is we're trying to get as many hits on the trend line as possible, not always catch the highest candle or the lowest candle. It's kind of like the more relevant ones. A lot of the time you can use the highest candle and lowest candle, but in this case here, you're kind of looking for as many confirmations that your trend line's on the right spot as you can.
Yeah. So even like with this move up here, where this was the secondary line on this triangle tool. Not exactly. I don't put a lot of emphasis on that unless it works out. There was a nice little trend, as you see, where it came to nice strong move down. We had a 3-leg move up. My guess is what's going to happen is going to come down and retest this. And if it retests this, is either going to bounce off of this trend line and this zone and then go back up, or is going to break through and keep on going. We don't really know which way that's going to go, but I do suspect it's probably going to have some movement in this area coming on down. If we go to our lower time frame chart, and there again, because from an Elliott wave standpoint, you had a nice move down. You probably had your 5 legs down. This would be your retracement back up to this area. And now it's basically, it's just forming, it's inside of a channel, the upper channel with the purple lines and the lower channel with the purple. And as long as it stays within that channel, you could probably, you can maybe take these short and then take it long down here and just keep playing that. You have plenty of room inside here. But that's a little bit different theory than what the wedge strategy is, where we're looking for the breakout of a wedge. But there is room to be playing. It's in a channel with a slight trend to the downside.
So I just drew another wedge there, and I shared something in the chat. So if someone wanted to take a look, it's a really good example of how you can use trend lines where it becomes that one trend line becomes resistance, and then all of a sudden it becomes it's support, and then quite a few candles down the road it becomes resistance. But there's a couple really nice trades where a person could have got in on Euro USD for a downside trade, and it would have been really clean. I would be very hesitant to take anything on the upside right now with the way that Euro USD is moving.
And with the fact that the dollar is the stronger of the two pairs,
Yeah,
you want to be taking it more short. And so that's why the reason why we also like looking at our lower time frames. So because I like seeing where these moving averages consolidate. Like right here is where on the 1 minute chart, all three moving averages consolidated. It came up, it bounced off the top of the wedge, came back down, gave us our consolidation, and then it dropped. And so that's really where we are right now. And here's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave to the downside. Eva, this is what we were talking about a little bit. It's on a 1 minute chart, but you can see where you have 5 specific waves: impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse. There's our 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 waves in here. And then you can expect a 3-wave pullback if you're looking at Elliott wave theory, which doesn't always hold true, but sometimes it's a little bit clearer than other times. But right now you have a nice little trend going down here. It broke the bottom trend line. All of our moving averages are in the right direction. You could probably take this thing short, keeping a really tight stop. You want to have your stop above this level up here, and that would still give you your, from this little touch of the yellow moving average. But this is, again, this is something a little bit different than what we've been trying to teach. This is just something trying to find out how the price action is happening, especially while we're sitting there waiting for a new alert to come. But you can see this is a move down, it's a nice move down, and you have a nice little subsequent wedge from here, to here.
yeah. Would you say that there's no problem with anyone just drawing trend lines? You know, like if you're on the charts and you got no alerts, find 2 bottoms and go draw a trend line. You might find yourself in a nice little trade potentially.
Yeah. One thing that you can always do once everybody gets this RCS tool is when you can, like I said, a lot of times if there's no alerts, so for instance, like right now, we really don't have any strong alerts. We could be looking at on a 30-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, you can see which is the strongest, and here the dollar is the strongest. The New Zealand is the weakest. You can go to a US New Zealand chart and just come on over, go put up a New Zealand USD. You want to be trading it to the strength of the dollar because the dollars are stronger. And as you get these moves, just wait for the pullback, and you can play with that a little bit when you don't have an alert, where you see, okay, here's a nice strong move down. Here's a little bit of a pullback. Draw your triangle. Here's a pivot. Here's let's see. I would go with probably this for the high, this for the low. Flatten out the top, bring the wedge on down. When it comes back up to the B, you could take it short. You're in your fib zone. Comes up to the green fib line. We already had to pass a check. Came back down. It hasn't hit the blue one yet. It's still strong. I don't know how this is going to work, but let's just play this one out a little bit. Let's just take this way, sell at the limit of where the B is, or wait till the moving averages turn around. I prefer to wait till the 1 minute moving averages consolidate. This one's way up here, so if this thing pulls back, you're having a little bit of a trend. Let's see. This is a strong move down too. We had couple strong moves. Here's a little wedge right in here, strong move down. It's probably going to come up and retest this area. So I'd be looking at this area right here to be retested. This is a drop, a little drop, base drop. That was a little wedge, came back, and this area right now, I'd be looking at it to perhaps retest this area.
All right, so I'm going to go out on a limb.
Okay.
And maybe if this works out, then great. But here is a potential setup if someone wants to take another look at it.
You want to share your screen or?
No, I just shared it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So you see where that circle is? Maybe you'll see it, maybe you won't.
Let me see if I can see what you got here. I'm not seeing your chart here.
On the
This is what I'm seeing right now.
in the chat?
Well, I saw you put the you took a snapshot,
link?
right?
Yeah.
I just clicked on that and this is what I got. Let me try again. That's what I'm getting when I click on
Oh, that's special. Hold on, maybe that failed. Maybe I really messed that one up. Hold on, let me try this again.
Why don't you share your screen? Or is that?
Let's do that.
Matt, Leslie said I tried to open it and it says access denied.
Huh. Nothing special about my charts.
Okay, I stopped sharing. Go ahead and share your screen there, Matt.
All right, let's do that. And then we might have a setup here. We might have a little bit of a setup. I do have a couple lines on here, so don't worry too much about that. Share screen. Let's try this. It works. Good. I've been having some computer problems in the last little bit, so I need to get my buddy to help me out. Let's get there. Right.
This is a Euro US dollar we're talking about.
Euro USD, yes. So I'm gonna do something a little special. So you see how price is coming up? I'm looking. This is very significant. So what I'm looking for, and I'll kind of write it out a little bit as much as I can. So here you have a tag, it's nice. And then here you have a tag, it's nice. And then here you have a tag, it's nice. Okay, you got 3. That means this trend line's valid. Now, what I'm looking for is price broke. I want it to come back up here. If it bounces on here, I'm going to take it short. So if this one comes up and tags here, then that's a trade.
What if it goes back into the wedge?
Then there's no trade.
What if it tags it and you get in and it goes back into the wedge before it comes out the bottom?
Then I will take the stop out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where would your stop out be?
I would not let it go very high. It's basically in this scenario, because this is such a strong trend line, like this is really strong. I am not going to let it go more than here. And I'm not using 2% to 5 pips. I'm just using 2% to 10 pips. And I'm going to manually take myself out if it slices through here. So if I see it, it comes here, it bounces nicely, it closes a red candle outside of the wedge here. If I put a red candle here, then that will be what I'm looking for.
As long as that candle closes red.
Yeah. I will only take it on the candle close.
Would you take it at the tag of the line, or would you take it at the close of the red candle?
No, maybe on the 1 minute chart, if I had some reason to do that. But, hello, you got really ugly really fast. Let's see. Because here we're getting pretty close. So this is 1 minute. This is what we're kind of looking at. Now, there's something interesting to see. Why do I like trend lines? Well, I'm looking for two bottoms and I draw the line. I'm looking for tops, and if you got 2 points that you can connect, draw yourself a trend line. If you can make 3 connection points, even better. Now we have a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. So look, now we're blue. We're still looking for it to tag here and close red on the downside, and then have a very, very tight stop loss.
And that's basically the break that we're looking at. The trend line we're looking at is the one that actually was off the original wedge alert that came down, broke it, gave us would have given you your target, and then it retraced back off of that alert. So that's the trend line you're looking at from where I drew the A to the C, where this is actually it's a little no, it's a little bit different. Yours is going up, mine's going down.
A little bit. This is another one after the original.
It's one after this, where if the C then went up to retest the top of the wedge.
Yeah.
The original wedge, it went up to test, and then there was another little trend coming up, and that's the one you're looking at right now to test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see that. Yeah, that looks like a nice little area.
This is something that might be for the fun. So let's see. Let's go check this out. So say I wanted to put, I don't know, something really. Let's go to. We're gonna calculate it, but we're only gonna put 2%. 10 pips. And we're going to do market. 2%. Just getting that, $20, whatever. 5 pips, 10 pips, we're good.
It's just about ready to tag the trend line.
Yeah, it's getting close. Now this is just demo, so we can. But I'll probably take this on my live account if it does what I'm looking for. This is why we like to use leverage, right? Because this trade is worth like $23,000, but in reality, a person could take this trade with a $1,000 account and put 2% risk into the trade and risk $20. So
it looks like you have about 14 pips. If you take it right on the trend line, you have about 14 pips to the downs to where the bottom of that secondary wedge that he has there.
All right,
about 14 pips.
You see that? See how it bounced right there? And now we're gonna wait. I'm gonna sit on our hands for a little bit. I might check something. Yeah. Actually, this is a really good trade. Just wait a bit. I'm gonna see when it turns around. I don't have 3 screens, Al, but on your other screen, if you see that you get some red trend bars on the 1 minute, then that might be the entry.
I'm looking here. Right now,
let's see what happens.
It's still climbing on up.
Yep. It's coming up a little bit.
And this is basically ways to either add to positions, or after you get the initial alert, if you get in and get out. These are other ways of continuing trading this particular pair. But you have to be careful with because you're really in the middle of certain zones, and this is, you're not getting the alerts. You're basically trying to identify the price pattern as it's developed, as it continues on to from where the alert was.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these alerts you can actually continue on for throughout the day, but like I said, for the most part, we're just going for a couple pips with our higher lot size, and then just saying that was a nice trade and move on.
Yeah,
But
I've taken a couple trades where like I've had one wedge and I've been able to pull 3 or 4 trades out of it because I would put the trend line and I would find additional trend lines.
did you stop sharing?
Nope.
Let's see, I lost
You
your
don't
screen.
see it?
I think it's probably hiding. It's probably. Oh,
Yeah,
there. It's
maybe.
never. Yeah, no, it's still here. It's still here. I was
Okay. Yeah, we're just
hid
watching.
behind.
So here we got a little bit of consolidation on this trend line. So would you guys be of the opinion that this is a very valid trend line? That since I have this tag here, and this is really close, and this one, that we might have something here, and it might be worth our time to look at it. Now, I've got another trend line. I just saw it. So let's see if we can make this happen. Hold on.
Now, the only problem I see right now is I see that the euro and the U.S. flipped on the RCS, where the euro has now become stronger on this
Yes.
move up. Just so take a note of that. But
That's
this is a retracement of that down move. It is still hanging close to that trend line.
so I do think, Al, even if it did it flip on what time frame?
15.5. It flipped on all three.
Oh, okay.
Right now it's a 5 and a 4 on the 15 in favor of the euro, 5 and a 3 on the 5, and a 4 and a 1 in favor of the euro strength on the 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty fine with what it's doing right now. This is going to be a big pullback.
Right now it's at least 14 to 15 pips.
Yeah, so let's
And it's retesting. It's right now. It's testing the
top of that trend line.
1755 is the 62 on the 15-minute chart. It's not there yet, but it is. It did break and close above the 62 on the 5.
Yeah. Let me see something. Yeah, it could come up higher. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's try something. Let's do
But it is
sell.
getting rejected a little bit here at the 1748 is the 62 on the 5-minute chart. So 48 is right about there. And we are getting some consolidation on the 1 minute.
So
If
let's
we
see
can
what
get it,
happens.
I would say if we can get a break below the 1745 level, if we can get a close below 1745, I think it's
That's
going
what
to
I
go.
see. Al, if I see like down here, you might have a nice shot. So I just took it on the demo just to play it around for a little bit. I'm not going to do it live yet. It's just taking longer to come down than anticipated.
This could very well come back and retest that upper trend line, that purple trend line we had earlier, which would be, at this case, it'd be at the 1766 level.
Yeah, 66 is a little high for me, but yeah. Oh, up here, yeah. It definitely could. Let's see. It broke inside again.
1755 to 1745 is the range that I would expect us to be in, but it needs to break that range either to the upside or downside before I would take this. If it breaks 1755 to the upside with a close above 1755, it could very well be going up higher to retest the upper wedge at 1765. And that would be 10 pips.
1765. Oh, here, right?
Yeah, because the 1750 is a key quarters number. The 50 and then 5 points of 5 pips either side of that would be 55 versus 45. Above 55, it usually ends up
Oh
going
yeah.
higher, and
All
below
right.
45, it ends up going short.
Gonna get some heat on this. Actually, it's not gonna reverse yet. I'll still stay in it though. Let's see. I think it's gonna stop me out. Hold on.
I do like the idea that right now all of our RSIs are hooking at the 89 level. At
I
least
don't
the
know how
1
to
minute
change it
is.
here.
I
Do you
don't
know how to
quite
change the stop loss on here for demo trades?
on demos. You can go to just grab your stop and just slide it down.
Oh yeah, we'll drive it down. Good. Let's go. All right. 1760 what? 65?
Yeah, I should do it.
Let's do 66. So we'll push it up a little bit. What I didn't like is that it didn't respect the line properly. You know how it respected it here? It never really played around with it too much.
Yeah,
When it
that's
came
right.
here, it sliced through it and then it took off. So that should have been a warning sign that it's not respecting that line anymore. Now, on a 5-minute candle, let's go see. Just for giggles. Five-minute looks a little bit better. 1 minute's a bit fast. So let's see.
Matt?
Hey,
Hey, does it change your thoughts that when you went to the 5, that, okay, you can still see it here. You see, after your third hit, the next
Yeah.
candle broke that trend line and was a red candle. Does that change your game plan?
oh, where? This one or over here?
To the left. Your third hit on your trend line.
Oh,
When you went to the 5-minute, you
yeah,
had a red candle that had broken that hit.
right here.
Yes.
Oh no, that's fine. That's completely fine because it's still respecting it because it's tagging the bottom and the top of the trend line.
Okay. I thought on the 5-minute it like
Oh,
went through the
let me go
trend
check.
line.
Let
Just
me
a
go check.
question. Just a
No, no, you're fine. Let's go find
And we
out.
are getting red trend bars up, Matt,
Nice.
as it comes out the bottom of the wedge.
That could be good. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that red one here on the 5. I know what you mean. No, like that doesn't phase me.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but this is just trend lines, right? We're just doing a little bit more advanced things with trend lines. If you got 2 points where you can connect it, great, go draw one. Here, it's kind of respecting it a little bit, so we'll see what happens. Oh, it's not done. It's going to come up again. And then, let's see. What was I off by? 1, 2, 3, 5? 5 pips?
It's coming down to retest the 40-50 level.
Oh, I was off by 1 pip, Elias? Oh, it rolled down? Okay. He's still watching. Oh, okay. Let's see, Al.
This looks like this could be, although it still looks like it could be we're getting a nice little close below the trend line. We got a close below the trend line, and we have still dollar strength again. So
Yeah, that was that was a cool indication when RCS flipped on the 15, 5, and 1, and then so let's just see. Let's put on.
we did get a close. We did get a close below the 1748 level, which is that there's a nice blue candle. The candle, there's like a series of 3 candles that came up when it came back into the wedge, and you just got the close below that first blue candle just before, right about the price wise of right at the 840 candle.
At the 840 candle.
Right there at the bottom of the 840 candle.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's good. So we'll see if this one stays under this candle.
Now it's going up to retest the wedge again.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a deeper retracement. So here we're doing, we're just looking for the retracement, have an idea where it could be. It could come down here to 61.8 and then go up, or it could come up a little bit and then come right down. So we'll see.
You did get a retest, so there was a little bit of a drop basing area right around from, let me see what the time on that was. Right where that candle, right where that blue candle peaked up, right around the 1755 area, came up into just above 1755, could not close above that, and then it dropped down to close below the wedge. So right now I'd say this thing is still going short. We have the strength of the dollar strength still. And it's we'll see if it breaks down.
All right, looks like it's got some speed now. So let's see.
We have a little bit of a level at 1742, which is a green fib line. And if we can get a close below that, then we'd be heading on down to 1721.
All right, so I've got another trend line to draw right here. So if I would have done this to begin with, you see how you have support, and then resistance. So anytime you have like 2 of these 2 lows together where you can draw a trend line, draw your trend line. It's gonna help out. 2 lows or even 2 highs. So if you wanted, it's not really gonna work out. It's too narrow, but we'll wait for another one.
Right now we're still showing dollar strength on the 15-minute and the 5-minute and the 1-minute. All 3 are showing dollar strength. So we're still looking to the move to the downside.
Yeah, we're just letting it do its thing.
The first target is going to be about 1737, which is going to be the bottom of that first drop, that first broke through the wedge. So that's would be your first target area, which is going to still be, which could give you 7 pips to the downside.
Yeah, it would.
Actually, could be as much as 9 or 10.
Yeah, depending
on your fill.
Yeah, this one was at 1747, so it filled here. So I'm only gonna get yeah 1739. So I'd get like, we'll see. Here we go. Check that out, guys.
Starting to make its move.
Yeah. So Al, if you can tell me when the bars turn green, more or less,
okay,
then that could be the potential exit of this, and then maybe we can find something on the charts to validate that.
There's 7, 8 pips right now. Take that one off. I'm going to take that one off, and I just got my 7 pips for the day.
Oh, you actually took the trade?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I came down and closed right when it closed below. Here, let me show my chart.
Yeah. Oh, here, hold on. I'll stop sharing for now.
Okay, stop sharing, and I'll share back again. So here's what I was looking at. Pretty much what Matt was saying, but this was the area that I was looking at where there was basing. Everybody see my chart? Okay.
Yeah, I see your chart. I closed mine down.
Here's where it came down. It came up, tested the wedge, came back down. It started going sideways, and then it dropped down. When it crossed over when it came back into the wedge, I was looking at this area right here for it to come back and retest this area. It came up, tested up, was rejected, and you can see the level here is 1754. So basically went up to 1756, couldn't hold it, couldn't close above it, came back down, broke down through the wedge. These blue candles were the ones I was looking at right here. Here's our 62 moving average on the 5-minute. But I was looking at this series of candles. When these red candles came down and when we had the hook of the moving average, it closed. We got the close of this red candle right here below this blue line. I took the trade. So there was my entry. Here was the entry. I'll make this on the, and this is a enter to sell right there. Got the close. My stop's still going to be up at the top here. It would be my stop, and then here's my target down here. Once I got in here, came down, got my 7 pips, and I was out.
Nice. So it looks like we could have used the 1-minute Hull moving average. So that one of the green bars on your charts. I think that would have worked.
This green fib line, it came right down to the green fib line, got rejected. So right now it's trading in between the green fib line. This is still a 1-minute chart. And where's should have a red line up here someplace. These must be 5-minute. Oh, this must be 5-minute candles here. Yep, let's put this back to this green candle on a 5-minute is the same as a red 2-minute or blue 2-minute. So here's the blue one. Here's our blue line right here. It came right down. So right now, here's our 7 pip region right in here between if I can get a draw.
All right. Let's see what happens here.
Here's our 7 pip. Here's our 7 pip mark. If we get a close below here, then it's probably going to come down. I was looking for it to retest much stronger. This move down to retest down on this area because this was 14 pips from here. And actually from the low of this, where it broke the trend line, the low came back up into the trend line. That was 21 pip. That was a 21 pip move. Once it closed down below the blue line, got my close below this blue mark, this blue candle here, take the trade, get my 7 pips, and I'm out. Now it's retesting the wedge. So this thing still has some room possible to the downside. We still have dollar strength, even on the pullback. And we got some more red. We did. It just moved back again there, Matt. We have some red trend bars on the 1-minute.
Yeah.
Again, this is another pullback. I said once I get the cross of when I get a pullback and I get the cross of the green and yellow moving average, and a close, especially if I can get a close below where that last push up was, the bottom of that. When I get the close below that, I'm taking it short, and then you can use this for your stop area. If I were to take this short area here, looking at the close right here.
I like to make a lot of trend lines because they help me on my entries. So the more trend lines I can put, after a while, you're going to start loving them. At first, you're going to be like, oh, man, there's too many lines. I don't know what's going on. But trend lines are going to be your best friend. So now we're going up the challenge, the bottom of the wedge.
Yeah, see, I almost would be expecting this thing to start to reverse and maybe poke out the upside at this time of day. It's almost 9 o'clock. We're getting to our 9 o'clock hour, the 9 o'clock move. And a lot of times you get a strong move right before the 9:30 when the U.S. market opens. I would not be taking this thing short right now. And actually, I'd be more apt to taking it along with the RCS. Right now, we have 7-0 on the 1 minute. This is going to be a strong pullback. And right now the euro is strong on all three. Even on the 15, we got a split of 5. This is a strong flip over here.
It might be the turnaround point, Al.
Yeah, I think this might be the turnaround. If it breaks through the top of this 15-minute wedge up here, this is our original alert. We had a nice little move down, retested, broke. Do we have divergence here? We might have divergence. Do we? Nope, not quite. We don't have the divergence. But right now we had the test of the upper trend line after the wedge alert. Here was the test. Came back down, and now we're getting. Right now we still have a lower high and higher lows, but everything is starting to consolidate once again. So I'm going to take this one off and move this out of the way. We still have the D. I'm going to take the original wedge. I'm going to take it out because now we have these other trend lines here. This is still valid. This one's still valid. This one has not been retested. This is the original. Here's the anchor. This one still needs to be validated somewhere over beyond, somewhere around here. It needs to be validated. This one has been validated. So right now, if we get a close, right now a 15-minute chart, if we get a close above the 62, which we did right here on this could be the point where it's going to start to retest, and here would be the target. Once it breaks the trend line, I want to see a close below, a close above. This is the highest. This is the high. I want to see a close above this line. If close above this, should ping us up to this for a target, and then maybe even way up higher still.
Once you start drawing wedges on the lower time frames, like those trend lines, it's going to help you also in drawing your trend lines on the 15-minute and the 30-minute and the higher time frames. It's just going to become very subconscious because you're going to see, oh, wow, it's very easy now. It just takes a little bit of practice, right? There's a lot more wedges on the lower time frames than there are on the higher time frames. And just look for 2 points of connection on your trend line and then just draw it out and then look for another one. Like Al's got a really nice wedge right where his cursor was earlier, where he moved from the bottom trend line. You see there's a wedge there and it broke out. And you got a wedge at the bottom there. And it broke out with a flat bottom. The other one was kind of a flat top.
Yeah, so what I'm really looking at is that this is an anchor. Here's a hit. I want to see a close above this point all the way over here. I want to see a close above that. If it does, then we're going, oh, then we're going, let this be the next target up to there. Because you see that if there's no more wicks, once you hit the body and you go up to where the next top of the red candle is, this would be the next target. If it breaks this is our next target, and that would be, let's see where that would, let's see a target down here. And if we get that, we would be looking at 75 to 95. So that'd be 20 pip move if it can get a break here. If it breaks the wedge and can't break this, I would call this a trap to maybe go to the downside. But right now, you don't want to be taking this thing short with the euro being strong at the top. You wait to the pullback and then wait for the moving averages on the 1 minute to flip over and give you the right direction on the 1 minute. You'll lose a few pips in the transition. But if you can get these things to consolidate like they are right now, that's usually
a higher probability trade.
It's a higher probability with the lower stop.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be shooting in the wind, you know. So we'll see what happens here.
You have all these blue candles coming up.
Here we go.
I want to see a close. I want to see a close below this blue candle, with all the moving averages in the right direction. This is the bottom where this move came from. So wherever this candle closes below the 62 on the 1 minute chart, I want to see right now there's wicks. These are all buyers in here.
Yeah, I'm really not liking the way that the
No.
price is moving.
I like
It's
this
really sideways.
I like this to the top side a lot better. Now this is a test of the 62 to the short side. Everything's still strong on the euro. I would say this is probably more in line with being a reversal point where
Yeah, myself as well.
if we can get a close above all of our moving averages are in the right direction, we get a close. This is going to be the test point right in here. Came up, a test. Here's our fib line. If it can close above the fib line we're looking at here, then going up to the top of the wedge.
Yeah, see, there's too many times that it failed on the 1 minute chart for me right now. So right now it's tagging the bottom of the trend line. So I'll see what happens here, but I'm not liking it.
It's important to see where the reversal points are when you see where it starts to change the characteristics and change the momentum. You can see where it's changing the momentum. It broke the wedge, it came back down, couldn't get through it, back up again. Now you're still having this area over in here. You're still having to deal with this stuff. Here's a high. Yeah, come on. High. Here's a low. Here's a lower high. Here's a higher low. Here's where the wedge is somewhere peeking out over. Let me get this up. Expand this a little bit. There's an alert. Where did that come from? Is there any other alerts? Let me just double check, see if there's anything else coming on.
Yeah, just as we're sitting around, playing around with trend lines, right? Instead of just sitting here and twiddling our thumbs, I guess we would just talk about trend lines and how powerful they can be. You know, one of the things that's been really hard for me as a trader is knowing when to eject. You know, like things are not going the way that they were planning. I just think of it as like you're in a cockpit and you're flying, and your instruments tell you, hey, this is a problem. Something catches fire, things get really, really dirty, but you don't want to hit the eject button because you're going to lose an airplane. It's just like this, like losing it or staying in too long is going to hurt you a lot more than just ejecting and moving on and getting another airplane.
If you look right here, you can see there's almost a little bit of what they call an M pattern, where you have the low, here's a high, here's the middle of the M. Now it's coming up to retest this, and then you could possibly expect it to break down.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see more of a W, Al. If you go a little bit further back.
Yeah, you go back here, you have a W. That's true. And then if it breaks and then that could mean that it could come up and retest this area, which is pretty much right where we're talking here.
Hey, Ruben. Good morning to you. We're doing some trend lines, just because we have no alerts.
So we're making this into a teaching session.
Yeah, we're just learning about trend lines and how they can enhance your trading. Al took a trend line bounce and secured his daily bread. So I'm taking a little bit of heat on one trade here, but.
What trade are you in, Matt?
Oh, the same one. I didn't exit.
Sorry, I was away from the computer for about half an hour.
Okay, yeah. No, I entered sell at something like 1749, So still a
Oh,
little
okay,
bit of heat.
for this one, the Euro US.
Yeah, and then I got a
Yeah.
little bit more heat here, so. But we'll see if it reverses in the next 2 pips or so, is what I'm expecting. But because it never made a higher high, it made a lower high. So
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just.
Well, currently I'm a spectator, so I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, no, it's just demo. I just took it on demo. My brain's still full of cobwebs. 8 o'clock came way too early.
Good
So,
morning.
so you see right now, here's where our alert was. Here's where this was the trend that it broke, came all the way down, broke where this is where I had my original A. And I moved it up. Here was the trend, broke, came down, it broke this area. So we just we have a little of a decreasing channel, a descending channel. Bottom of the channel, top of the channel. This is still a high. This is at the new low. This is a lower high. And right now it's a higher low, but it's still within this whole range. The question will be, is it going to come up and tag this high, which is pretty much where we have, well, this is where we had started with let me just redraw this. That might be better. So
I haven't.
here is the
Go ahead.
alert. And we have here was the A, which Pedro was happy enough to point out that I had to draw it backwards before. So here's our A, here's our B, here's our C, here's our first hit in between, and then here's the hit before the wedge. Now the question, we can probably go ahead and maybe tighten this up a little bit more. If we're on a 1 minute chart, let's put this on 1 minute here. We probably can tighten this up a little bit more. Where we have, here's the lower high. And we have even another one. So we can tighten up a little bit over there. And we can take this one. And this was our first hit. Here's our second hit just before the wedge. This still validates this one. This is how you can see how you can really tuck these things into. And this is right where the alert happened. That's the low before the alert. Here's the break. Here's the retest right here. Takes the trade. Now this one made if you take and see where go back to my 5 minutes, so it's a little bit easier to see this. Here's where the A was. You can see where if I had this flat line here, you can see where that got broken, made a new low. So now it's really trending from a high to a low, lower high, lower low now. And here's our demand zone right in this area. This is where we have some buyers coming in from a higher time frame chart. And so now it's testing the new high. So here's an anchor, here's a hit, here's a hit. There's 3 hits here. Anchor, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit, drop down, came back, tested. That validates this trend. So unless you can get a break above and close above this secondary high. Is this still the highest? Let me pull this back out a little bit here. You can see it a little bit better. I can see here's a close here, but here's a higher close. But this close was not able to take out this wick right here. So this is why this is going to be controlling right in this one. So I want to see a close above this before we can expect it to go up to this area. Until then, if it comes up here, wicks up, can't close above, look for the turnaround of your 60 of your moving averages to come back into the wedge and maybe take a short. If this one doesn't get, but if you take it when it tags this, if you take an aggressive move, you'd be looking at possibly 7 pips to the upside before it would possibly retest this wick over here. If you
So
can't get a close.
It tagged that 1760 level and rejected it.
Yeah.
So
and you can see where if you move this down to this point right here, you can see that This is still lower than all the other closes way over here before the alert. This is still the highest close from before the alert. This one came up, tagged it, but rejected it. Came up, tagged it, rejected it. Came up, tagged it, and rejected it. So that's why I'm using this, actually kind of like this, the close above this candle, which is pretty close to where this one is here. The close, this is still the highest close right there, but this is the highest wick. So I want to see it close inside. Actually, this is where I would draw this one.
Actually, Al, isn't it making somewhat of a new wedge from where your D is to the next high?
Where the B is,
where your D is.
Let me see. Let me just draw
I
this one real
posted a
quick.
screenshot of it as we speak.
And let's see. We'll make this one. We wanted to close inside this zone right here. If I can get the inner to close, move this out a little bit, slide that out. Now, what were you saying there, Ruben? The B?
From where your D is, the D from
D.
demon. Yeah, from there, it's making, until that high. And like that, yep, it's making somewhat of a...
Yeah, this is still a valid trend line here. So we actually, if you can look, I'm gonna keep this one on, but I'm gonna say this is the original wedge. I'm gonna make this one orange. Now we have where the D was, it came down here, came up here, and we came here. So this is pretty much the wedge inside. I'll call this would be like our secondary wedge here. Let me see where, there we go. Let me take this one out of the way to close that one out. So this is really where we are right now. And here's our W. Can come up, bring that, and usually the W's, here's the anchor of the W, bottom leg, middle leg, second leg, come up, retest that, and if we can get a break below here, we'll probably come down and retest this. Looking at the charts and looking to see where our moving averages are on our 1 minute, we're starting to get a crossover of the green and yellow. If this green comes down and just hooks and starts going back up, it's going to be heading on up to this area. I need to see a green cross the yellow right in here. Preferably see the green cross the yellow and have the white one, which is the 62, tucked in a little bit closer, just like we had here. We had the green cross the yellow, actually the green cross the yellow and the white all at the same time. And this was the move, this is the break above. Here's the close, come back, retest it. And this is where this move came from. We're still showing strength with the euro. Right now we're kind of in no man's land with this, and but it is making from this low, it's making higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs, still higher low. We have a little bit, we could have another little secondary trend line from this area. And you can see where the angle, if you look at, and I look at this a lot too, you see where here's a trend. But you see how the angle shifted to more strength to the upside? If I draw a parallel and come over here, you'll see that this is no longer a parallel, it's now changing direction. See how the angle's changed here? And as it gets a stronger pullback up, as the stronger it goes up into it, it's either going to base and come back down, or it's going to base and keep on going. So right now, this is going to be I would suspect this thing's going to come up and tag this, and then we're going to see what happens when it gets to this area right in here.
Yeah, I would be of that same opinion. Just because it's taken so long and it hasn't really gone down, it's just trending upwards more or less. We haven't seen a lower low in quite a while.
And if I see some weakness on the, well, that's a Bears cat, never mind, disregard.
I am going to step away for a couple minutes and I will be right back.
Okay.
All right, just a sec.
And I'm looking at something on another chart here real quick. Hang on, bear with me. Yeah, we're still good there. Okay, so anyway, right now we're back to the business as usual, and we're still waiting for some more alerts. We're still not getting any. Still have nothing since 1:15 this morning, which is for Tuesday. I find that to be rather unusual.
Yeah, usually it's Tuesdays and Thursdays that are the busiest with the alerts.
There are a lot of red folders today, so that could be part of the reason why.
That's tomorrow, actually. Today there was only, I think, the pound and dollar in 1 hour or so. Tomorrow there's a lot. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had one. It was at. Yeah, we're looking at today. Well, 3:30 is that one's already done. 10:30, we're looking at the dollar at 10:30 and the Kiwi at decimal later on tonight. So basically 10:30.
Okay, I'm sorry.
10:30. 10:30 is the one time we're looking at. In fact, let's put a mark on that just so we know. 10:30. So that's going to be over here. We'll probably be just about done by that time, but we'll still make a note of it. 10:30. This is a news announcement. So when we get trading and we start seeing that, we may want to be either wait to get in or try to get out before then. I wish we had more alerts today, but we don't. We just have to get what we get. Take the hand that's given us. Right now I'm going to take these off because this is not. Here's our news. Let's see what time is it. It's almost 9. This market, the U.S. market, is going to open up in about another 10 minutes. Why don't we take a 10-minute break and come back just before the 9:30 open of the market, and we'll see what happens then. This is a good time for a break. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to go to being on break.
See you all then.
Are you still here, Al?
I am here. I'm still here.
Did you take the GCAD alert?
The
Beta.
on the beta test.
Yep,
Let me see here.
I took it, and it's going down.
Let me GCAD. Let me see over here. Yep, I did take it. Yep.
Nice.
How's yours been working out for you?
I'm in profit.
I mean, overall for the beta
Oh,
test.
yeah, took some losses, took some wins, but that's just how do I say? That's just making me learn from my mistakes. I intentionally took trades that I wasn't supposed to take just to see how it turned out and
Perfect.
to learn. Yeah, to learn.
Well, you need
To
to
see
learn
what
what not to do, right?
Yeah,
And
well,
that's part of it. Like, you need to figure out what you're not supposed to be doing, and
and
if
the
you
best
don't
way for
figure
that
out,
is just doing it.
yeah, absolutely, you have to. You have to figure out what doesn't work. And that's what one of my mentors has always told me. Figure out what doesn't work. And then you're going to find out what does
What
work
does
after.
work? Yep.
And then it's not going to be luck. You're not going to be lucky. You're not going to be just.
It's gonna be knowledge instead of luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right
So
now
you'll
I'm
know.
up. Since I started trading the system, the first couple of days, I didn't quite know what I was doing. But right now, I'm overall in the last. This is the third week, I believe. Right, I'm up 46%.
Super.
That's nice. Too bad the testing will end this week.
Yesterday I had 8 trades and I lost on 2 of them, but I was still profitable. Actually, I had 9 trades and I lost on 2.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's a great ratio.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
And the 2 that I lost were both with the S&P, and I. But that's those. But then it gave me a sell, it gave me a buy, and it gave me another buy.
Oh,
And
yeah, no.
on the second buy, I was able to make up at least one of the losses.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been working. I've been pretty impressed with it all in all.
Yeah, I can't wait until the official version comes out in the market. Too bad the testing will end later this week. But yeah.
Are they going to make it available at the end of this week?
Well, this is only what I heard, of course, but my team leader said it would probably be mid-October. He said a date. He said 17 October, but of course that's not at all certain. It would be great though.
It'd be nice if they could let us keep testing until they actually release it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't wait.
You just give them more data to work with.
He already asked me if I want to be an educator for my team, which is nice.
There you go.
Oh, the guy that has the software?
No, my team leader, David.
Oh, okay.
You remember last week, I think, we were talking about Einstein and his settings? Well,
yes.
A couple of days after that, I don't know if you watched that video or that live session, but he was actually on a call with I believe it was Sal and all the others.
I did not see that. What's his name?
David Maas, but that's Dutch, of course. So I'll post it in the.
I call him David Mays.
David Mays, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's my buddy. I like him.
Yeah, I did not see I did not see the video.
Well, yeah.
Is it posted? I'll have to watch it if it's posted.
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get my Alexander settings. Right now, I've just been running it in demo, trying to figure out what to do with it.
Well, our personal, our team members and my personal opinion is that, yeah, his settings are doing really great, of course. oftentimes they're in 3 to 4% profit each week, while, for
Pretty impressive.
example, no, not Salido. What's his name again? Steven Vetterell
Yes,
doesn't even get the 1%.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's used to playing with billions of dollars.
Yeah,
Literally.
well, that's what I said to
So
David as well. He
he's a
said
different kind of person.
Steven is very, very conservative, but of course, if you play with millions or billions and you get only 1%, that's still, well,
That's still a
thousands
lot
of
of money.
dollars. So,
Well, it's his entire mindset, right? His whole mindset is conserve and protect and never lose money.
Yep.
As much.
And that's a little different than the mindset that most of us end up with, because we're trying to take a little bit of money to try and grow it into a lot of money, where he's dealing with people who have a lot of money just trying to make a little bit off of that, which is still a lot of money.
Yep, of course.
That's why we say that don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose. And but if you can learn to trade the money that you can afford to lose, and you learn to trade it successfully, you'll grow that into a lot of money that you don't want to lose.
Yep. It just takes time.
But you have to be able to get that consistency and that track record and that discipline. And that's really what the difference is.
Yep, it is. Well, I went live since last week. Of course, I've already lost, I think, 100 or 150 euros because of, I don't know. I think it's just the nerves. Because of going live, it all just seems so different. And yesterday, I made a very, very big and very, very stupid mistake. I wanted to close an order that was in profit, and I actually closed the one above, which was in 70 euros negative. So
that kind of
hurt.
mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, those are trading errors. Those are I call them platform errors.
Yeah, that's not a logic problem. That's just that's a you problem.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it is what it is.
Well, on the other hand, well, it sucks, but maybe it's also good that it happened to me now in the beginning, so I can pay attention to it in the future.
Yeah, the more you do it, the less the more you'll remember not to do it.
Yep. Well, I hope it will stay with this one time, though.
Yeah. But it's not unusual that once you go from demo to live, it's not unusual to lose money when you make that transition. It looks like we have a bitter Swiss.
Al?
Yes.
Rajiv posted in the chat, David was in Steve Vetterell's Trade Week forecast on the 12th of September. And
Right.
Pedro keeps on asking, could someone clarify if these live sessions are ending?
What live sessions?
I guess these.
These live sessions? No, they're not ending.
No.
Hawkeye will never die.
If you're talking about the Hawkeye session, no, that's not true. We've never said.
Okay.
We are talking to Sal, or we just sent a message to Sal about maybe changing the Wednesday night session time or to some other time, because we're not getting the people showing up for that we need to make it worthwhile doing it.
Not at all. The last couple of times there's like no one, so.
So we're seeing if we can find maybe a better time that may work for everybody. So we're talking about that part, but this morning sessions, there's no talk at all about stopping.
No, it's scheduled until December at least, right, Al?
Yeah, that is my understanding.
Yeah. There's no change in that. Trust me, if there was a change, we would know about it. There was no discussion with us, so we can put that one to rest.
Yeah.
All right, I put that in for him.
All right, looks like it's market's open. Let's go back to our charts and resume what we started to do and see if we can maybe get something Actually, I had all that record. I forgot to stop the recording on the break.
Oh, yeah. So, market's opened. We're moving. Hey, interesting note, Al. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but when you're doing paper trading, very important to note that if you put a second position in, it just gets added to your first one, and that's why it says average fill price. It actually doesn't create a new entry. I thought it was.
Is that with all brokers? Or just
I think
just
that's with
with
Awanda. Or with
paper trading?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's going to be the same way with Awanda as well.
Yeah, it's Awanda, whatever. Ooh, yes. Look at that thing go. Hey, Al, you were right.
It's coming on up.
Actually, there's a question from Pedro. He's saying, just curious, have you used these wedge strategies in the stock market? I don't believe we have, but I guess you probably could, couldn't you?
Wedges will work anywhere.
I do use them with the E-mini S&P futures. I've been doing that. I've been working with that recently, and it's been working out very nicely for that, actually.
I guess the wedge pattern is the wedge pattern.
Yeah, wedge is a wedge.
Asset,
we don't get
right?
we don't get the alerts, but the patterns are still there.
And the other side of that also is the moving averages are the moving averages. They hold true no matter where they are because they're based on Fibonacci. They're Fibonacci derived. So, and we use 62 because it's 61.8 rounded up. Well, that's the whole magic behind that. And it tends to hold price, interact with price a lot better than any of the other ones.
Actually, guys, I see Christine's put this in the chat, and I'll just say it out loud to everybody. Can you please put your questions in the Q&A area? Otherwise, they get duplicated. We don't know what's been answered, what hasn't been answered. They either get duplicated or missed altogether. So if you put them in the Q&A, that would be really helpful.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
because that way we can mark them off as answered or not. And if you don't put them in there, then we have no sweet clue if we actually answered them or not. You know, sometimes it's hard to follow everything at once and watch the charts and
Well, I just took 3 of the 5 alerts, the good ones, and they are just rocketing downwards. That's awesome.
Okay.
Weakness to the pound.
Yeah, weakness in the pound.
There's still no new alerts from AIRIS.
Nope,
No,
nothing thus far.
So quiet. It's been from 7:30 a.m. That is 5 plus 3 is 8 hours ago.
Yeah.
Especially for a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was expecting a little bit more action on a Tuesday than that, but
yeah, it's pretty slow.
It is what it is.
Hey, we're going down. Here we go.
Just looking at this, it's just still playing inside this wedge. It's basically in a slight downward sloping channel is what it's doing.
Yeah. And let's see what happens.
And it's making lower highs and higher lows. We'll see if it breaks this one right here.
Yeah, it never broke that higher high a little bit earlier, so that was the highest it went, and then it rejected it. So we'll see if it cycles down. That candle pattern, I've seen that too often. On the 1 minute chart, you see where you have a big wick, and then you go down, and then you go down, and you go down, and you go 3 in a row. Yeah, so right here, yeah, right after that, generally you're gonna see a little wedge, and then it's kind of like a continuation, but we'll see what happens here. See, it usually doesn't go above that previous candle.
Let's see where I was looking at over here, where I said that I was looking for the green to cross the yellow and then break the prior series of blue, which we've been right about in here for this. We got the crossover, the green crossed over the yellow, and then we got the close. Well, this was the close right here, but right now we've got, and now everything is, we're not quite all, we need the yellow to cross the 62 on this one. But this would give us an early entry. Now this, we didn't get the close right there, but if you can take it down to where this little zone was, maybe take it down over to, and we have to be looking at this area right here. We have to be looking at that because this is where that move started, here and then here. And here's our green fib line right here. So right now we have a bounce, so the green fib line didn't close above. We have a hook on the RSI. We have the dollars showing strength on the 1 minute, but let's see what it looks like on the, we have euro strength on the 15 and on the 5. No trade right yet. I would prefer to see a close below this area right in here on the 5 minute. Because here's where the next trend line is. This is the new trend line right through here. This is a secondary wedge from the original wedge. I just redrew this using the same wedge parameters that we had from where we had the alert. Right now, it's not really giving us anything that I'd want to be taking a trade on right now. It's too much in the middle of everything. If we can get a break here, we could be coming down to because this area down here is the new low that was made after the wedge alert. This is just the secondary wedge. We can actually almost make this one yellow here. This would be an early entry to come down to this area, to this point. Right now, I'm not touching it.
You see how it made a little wedge and then it broke out of the bottom? So it went down, it made kind of a continuation over here at the 1 minute Euro USD. It just did it. It's like, it's a very small wedge.
Yeah, this one right in this little area right in here.
Yeah, exactly. But you see that on a higher time frame as well. So that's a pretty good sign that there's a continuation going on. Especially when you have that, what do you call it, a wick over wick?
Yeah, wick over wick. Yeah, that's when you have a strong move down. Let me show you if I can find one here.
That's getting the lingo.
Yeah, figuring it out.
The OTA lingo.
Yeah. So when you have a strong candle down, you have a wick, new candle opens up, small little wick, and then another strong candle down. And you'll get where the two, I'm seeing, I'm trying to find a nice little area where you can usually tell a little bit easier sometimes on a higher time frame. Let's look at a 5 minute chart. We might be able to find one here when we're talking about.
Michael Chin said, wick of work is like a hidden zone.
It is like a hidden zone, exactly right. And you'll see them, when you see them on like a 15-minute chart, it's a little bit easier to see it. Let me see if I can find one here. This would be, not that one either. Here, this would be like this area right here. There's not a wick here, but if you have a strong move down, you have a wick, comes up, closes, next candle opens. Usually there's just a little bit of a wick right up in this area. And that would give you that would be your wick over wick. You have a strong move down.
I get it.
Wick over wick, it's another strong move down. You're not getting the blue candle in between, but you'll find them on a higher time frame. You'll get and you'll see that on a higher time frame. You'll get this little pattern. If you find it on a higher time frame, you get to take that same point to a smaller time frame. You'll see this little thing like this.
So because I didn't know that about paper trading, I'm risking 8%, but it's only demo, so it doesn't matter. Thank God it wasn't real. No, still in profit though.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt to just keep on when you meet your daily goal or you're done trading for the day. It's not hard. It's not a bad idea to try and take every alert and find out what makes it work and what makes it not work. Do it in demo, so you're not going to hurt anything. But that's all part of the learning curve of, like we were talking earlier, to learn what doesn't work as well as what does work. And that's through that process of elimination, you'll start getting a better feel for it. And you start seeing these things the more you look at it, the more you're going to start seeing them.
Trading is not. It doesn't come natural. I've seen a lot of students and a lot of people, and I have yet to meet someone that's just a natural. That just picks it up really quickly. It's an acquired skill. It takes time. We need to figure out what doesn't work. People that just want to find out what works, it's just short term, right? Short term wins.
Okay, I just took 26 pips on GCAD.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go see something quick. Hold on, I'll be back.
What did you take that on,
And
Ruben?
what he's talking about that beta testing that we're doing. That's coming out in another couple of weeks, hopefully. It's a manual trading program that's coming, and we've been doing some beta testing with it, and it's looking very promising. It's a nice thing to do as you're sitting here waiting for wedges and doing wedges. You're sitting here, the alerts come out. You just the alert comes, you take a look at the chart, you make a determination whether or not you want to take the trade, and then you take it or not take it. And then come back to your wedges and keep on drawing. So. As it's still in the beta testing process and start trying to accumulate results before it gets released. Yeah, so right now there's nothing to trade right now. There's still no alerts. We're inside this. This is the only alert we had today. That's the Euro US. And we're pretty much range bound right now. And if you see, like right now, we are right in the middle of the range. And you don't want to be taking trades because when you're taking trades in the middle of the range, it can go either side. It can wick either side very easily. So you're better off just wait till it gets down to one of the extremes of the range and then wait for that signal to either take it long or short. If you take it short up here and you're wrong, you have your stop real tight. If you take it long down here and you're wrong, your stop is real tight. And then if you get confirmation that you're wrong, you still have room to get in before the next target zone. Even though we know we want to buy low and sell high, oftentimes we still don't do that because we get impatient.
Ain't that the truth?
It happens to everybody.
I can't believe we haven't had any other alerts.
Yeah, it's unusual, but it is what it is. And we have a news announcement coming up right now, or coming up within another. Let's see what he said. This is going to be at 10:30, 10:50. Yeah, that's 10:50. We're going 10:30. I think is when the news announcement. 10:30. Slide this over just a little. That's 15 minutes before. There's 10:30 right there.
Be interested to see what's going to happen with it. I'm really kind of
That's a
moving
big
slow.
move down. That's a big move down.
And we'll see if it can break. So here's an anchor, here's a hit. We'll see if we get a bounce and break. I would be looking at a close below this level right here. And then the target could be down in this area. On a 15-minute chart, I'm going to go to a 1-minute chart and see how that looks on the 1-minute chart. Take this off right now.
Looks better on a 1-minute chart even, because you'll see it. I think you'll see what I see.
Could get a bounce down there. So I want to see it close below this area right in here. Price-wise, we have that's at 40 to 36. It's got four. That's a 4-pip gap in between here. Let's see what happens here. Let's scoot this up a little bit closer.
You know when you take a trade in demo and you kind of wish you took it live?
As they say, no guts, no glory.
No, exactly. Well, my phone was in my car, so I never usually just take the trades on my phone. I find it easier to watch, and I can watch the charts at the same time. I'm thinking this trade's going to be worth 20%, but I over-risked because I messed up the trading station. But
So you also have, a lot of times too, when you get the news announcement, all the things been, once you actually oftentimes will get that break before. We did this last week with the Canadian. You actually got the break before the news announcement because everybody knows what's going to happen. So they're already getting their positions taken.
yeah, the speculators are already in there.
Yeah.
So it's all.
But here's when I see that close below in this zone right in here. I think this could be a good trade, but I'm not going to take it. I'll take it in demo here. See if it's gives us a reason to get in here.
Let's see. So right where it is now, it's gonna create like a wedge. So once it's done going down, it's gonna wedge, and then it'll keep on going down. I like the 513.62 cross at the top. That's the ideal, nice, clean entry at the top there.
Let's see if we can get a close below this spot right here. Here's a
There we
close.
go. That's your
And
close.
here's
We
our-
got a
And
new
another
low.
26 pips on
Here's our
GBP
target.
dollar.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry for bragging.
No, you're fine.
The great thing is that I took them live.
Oh, okay, good.
That's awesome.
Now it's time for you to stop trading.
Yes, it is. Well, it was with a very, very small lot size, though.
Okay.
Profit is profit.
Yeah. We're not done yet.
So I did enter this trade when the close of this candle got filled down here.
Okay.
And everything is still showing weakness to the downside. And let's see where our RCS tool is. Our sales.
I think
Okay,
that
right
just
now
made a brand new low.
we have well, not quite, because here's the low from the
Last
from the original wedge. This is the low that we're looking. This is our target area right down here.
Oh, okay.
But right now the dollar is still showing a 3-point spread on the 15. Again, we have to be careful because we have this news coming out here in another 8 minutes. But this thing could materialize between then. And my stop's going to be up here out of harm's way. Keep it above that. I don't expect to have it go that far. And I will be out before it does. I just want to keep it out. I want to decide when to get stopped out. And unless it's a strong wick, then I'll keep it where at least the damage is minimal. I like keeping above where the crossover of this crossover is. And we're looking at for the Fibonacci tool. And with news announcements, you need to keep a little bit more range because of the wickiness that sometimes happens just before or after the announcements.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Janine has a question. I believe it's on this pair. But something I plotted the other day is the 1.1735 is approximately the bottom of a daily sideways range area. It has had several hits and daily MAs have crossed. Not sure how accurate it is since I'm still learning things.
Let's see here. Let me read that.
I asked which pair, but we haven't had a chance to hear back yet. But I believe it's this because this is when the question. Yes, it's on the Euro USD.
Euro USD. Okay. Yeah, the 1.735, I believe, is a Fibonacci number for this at this level.
Daily sideways range area. Oh.
Let's see. I'm not sure how to answer that question, Janine.
Neither. What about the what moving averages are you using? Is maybe the question I'm trying to figure out.
The 1.735 is probably going to be a 2-minute fib. I think that's a 2-minute fib number, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see where that's at here. 2835. Yeah, it's 1.735. That's one of those fib numbers, and that will be a number that you'll probably see over and over again referenced in a lot of these moves. So, and that's one of those algorithmic Fibonacci numbers that we use. And you'll see that a lot of the institutions are going to be using those numbers. And that's why you'll probably see some hits at that number. It's not so much coincidence, but it's just the area where price oftentimes will come to.
You're going to get a little bit of heat on there.
Drop. A little bit. Yeah, we got a nice little drop. It's pacing right now. It's staying within.
Gonna make another nice little ridge.
Yeah, we did get to close below this zone, but it's also trading. And this is what you're talking about, Janine. Is that here's your 1.735. Here's your 7 pips below that. This is the range. As long as it's pacing in here, it could very well end up coming down to this. Again, this is the middle of those blue zones. Here's the blue zone up here. You're right in the middle of it. So here's a 2-minute blue up here.
I like 1726 as a target, and then that'll be the end of that run, I think, for me.
Here's another blue zone right here. And we're right in between the two. So I say you have to be real careful when you're in these middle zones like this. If all the indicators are still saying to go short, in this case it is, you could expect it. You can be more, your better bet is to have a break to the outside, but this would be your target. And that's why I've got my target right, pretty much right there. It's a little bit above it, so maybe I don't get kicked out because I want to make sure I get filled. I don't want to not get filled just because of the spread. Here he goes, looking like it's starting to break.
There we go.
We had a break. We only had a wick. We didn't get to close. And that was on a, so we have 2 more minutes. In 2 more minutes, this will be a 5-minute candle close. Look on a 5-minute chart and we'll see where we're at with it.
Yeah, that'll be a big close, actually, because that's the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah. Let's see, here's where this broke. I wanted to see a close below this blue candle. This was the area that I was looking at for. I wanted to see a close inside or below, which it closed right inside here on this 5-minute candle. And here's almost like, it's been almost like another wick over wick on this 5-minute, but like here's a small wick, big candle down, small wick, opens up. A lot of times you get a small little wick up here and then it drops down again. That would be your wick over wick area right in there. But usually those 2 wicks in between 2 big candles. And then if that have that, then when it comes down and retests it, especially on a higher time frame, you usually a lot of times you'll still have some sellers in here to take it. It would have to break through that before it would go up higher. Now, as we look over here to the left where the C is, you can see where this was a nice move up. This is an area that hasn't been broken yet. So this is, I would consider this to be a demand zone off the 5-minute chart. Here's the body of the candle here where the wicks are. This would be demand. This would be the zone where I would expect to see it come down to.
Where, 1703? Is that a target for you?
1721 area.
Oh, okay. I've got something at 1703. That's a pretty significant move, and maybe that's the bottom of it for the day, but
Now,
I'm not going to stay in there that long.
Yeah, this is just from the move that we had this morning. This is strictly from this morning's move. Here was the alert. It broke, came down, made that pivot, came back up, retested the top of the wedge. Now it's coming down to, this is a sloping downhill from this area, but it's got to get through this. And once it gets through this, here's a demand area from way over to the left over here.
Okay.
And there's nothing touching it until we get back to, let's see, where's it stop? It goes,
Probably,
keeps on going.
yeah, probably won't see nothing for,
Right now
you might need a 30-minute chart or something.
Yeah, this is the September. It's been 2 weeks and still not there yet.
Yeah.
But that was referenced off a daily chart. That's where that was. That's where we got that.
See, there's nothing there.
And when you have, if this level hasn't been hit since the last couple of weeks, then you know that it's a fairly strong level.
Mm-hmm. And probably a
And
pretty good probability that it's going to tag it because we're breaking some lows, right?
you can also see where this down move from the alert this morning, it came down and it couldn't even tag it, which means there's more buyers that pushed it back up again. Now, what you might just do is, this would be, I would consider this to be a little bit of a trap where it comes down in. Now, if it comes in, you'd wait for it to come back out again and give you the signal to go long. And then however deep it goes, that would be your stop area. But it could push right through there and just keep on going down to this level down here. It's a game of probabilities. We have a news announcement here at 10:30. 15-minute chart. Let's go back to our lower time frame. Here's our 5-minute going into our demand zone. This is where the morning. This is where the buyers came in this morning after the alert. And we'll see if it can break this. As you know, the trend line is now sloping down. We don't have our third hit. Here's where my arrow is. So this is only the second hit of the trend line. We don't have the third hit. And this is where you can oftentimes you'll get that divergence. We have a lower low, but your moving average, your RSI is showing weakness. And so this could be a possible area where you may see a divergence.
Yeah, it's going really slow for the news announcement.
Of course, the announcement hasn't hit yet.
Nope, it hasn't.
But once it gets to there, I'm going to, that'd be my 7 pips profit. And if it doesn't get filled or before it starts bouncing off, I'll just close the trade. Right now it's making higher lows.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was about to close the trade, and then let's go back down.
It still has a little bit of push to the downside. Just found some buyers right in there. But oftentimes we're seeing more and more where we have a news announcement coming up and you get a nice big push down just before the announcement. But if you have that, you may want to be out before the actual announcement hits the news.
Cool. So that trade was that trade was too much.
What do you mean by too much?
Oh,
Too
like
much what?
20%.
I'm going to get out of this one because the news is coming out. I want to keep my profits.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
No,
Announcement's coming up.
even in demo, because we're just trying some things, right, with the trend lines, and we're doing some stuff. So I just exited before that last 1 minute candle. I didn't want to sit in it for the news. Generally not great, especially if you're in profit and you can walk away with a good amount. So if I didn't take my over leveraged position of risking 8% of my trading account, I would have made 4% or something like that. But because it was 4 times the size, and I used a very big stop loss. I used a 10 pip stop loss, and if I trade just trend line bounces like that, I don't usually use 10 pips. But this time I really needed the 10 pips because my entry wasn't great. The most drawdown I saw on those positions was about $40, and I walked away with 200. And just note that that's demo still. Al, I think that was a good move on your end to exit the trade early.
Well, I said with these, and whether even if you're in demo, you still want to trade it as if it were live because you still want to tune your brain to the positive way of trading, not by because every time you take a trade, just say, "Oh, let me just see what happens." You're really telling your brain that, "Oh, this is going to be okay to do that," and you don't want to get into the habit of doing that too often.
No, but you also don't want to take a trade. You don't want to not enter a trade because you think it might not be a perfect setup. So there's a really delicate balance, I guess. You don't want to you want to take trades. Maybe you can switch in your head and say, okay, well this is a demo live trade, and this is a demo to this is just a crap trade to see what would happen if I did take it. I don't know. Don't know what the best course of action in something like that is.
The news is at 10:30, is that right?
Yep, 10:30, and still nothing from the alerts.
No.
But now it's coming right back up into this area where I wanted to see it close in. This is almost like a retest of where this thing broke.
It makes you wonder 9 hours without an alert if something's up.
Yeah, it does. It does make it a little bit questionable as to why. And the fact it just doesn't suit the criteria of the algorithm. And don't know what else to say.
As we sit and wait.
We'll go for about
Does
another
anybody-
15 minutes, and if we don't get something going on with another 15 minutes, we'll probably just close it down and wait for another day.
Is anybody in any trades right now that maybe we could have a look at the pair? Anybody
Yeah,
interested in seeing anything?
Raj, you raised your hand. Let me turn your mic on so see what you have to say. Go ahead, Raj. You've got the mic. Your mic's open. It should be open. There we go. You're welcome to turn your mic on if you like. Or Raviv, I guess I mean.
I don't know where everybody is.
His hand's been up for quite a while.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Yeah, it's been up for at least a half hour.
They probably decide to move on from the day. Some days it's just not worth sitting by waiting for things, or just wait till they get an alert and then come back and take a look at the charts while you're doing something else. And there's nothing wrong with that philosophy either.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll wait another minute. If we don't get an alert in another minute or two, I think we'll just close this down and wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet.
It's been over 2 hours and we still haven't received any more alerts. So we'll give it, if we get one, it should be at 10:15. So if not, we'll.
Did you join in? Was there a swing trade session last night, Al?
Yes, Brian did have it. I did not partake in it because I was tied up at the time. But yeah, he did have it last night.
I was there.
Were you there? How was it?
It was good. You know, he had two groups going. I don't know where the second one was. I was the only one in my group, but I don't know where. He said he had other people and he was working between two chats.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No,
Oh,
we were talking about Brian's swing class last night.
Oh, yeah.
So you said you had another. Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you, we'll wait till 10:30 to see when the announcement happens so we can see how this thing works with the announcement, and then we'll probably close it up for the day. We'll see if it comes down and breaks through the bottom of this trend, see what it does. Another few minutes. It is making a nice move down. Here's that wedge over wedge I was telling you about. A strong move down. Here's a little wick. Here's another little wick. And if you draw this out, this is your wick over wick area right here that we were mentioning earlier. There's a wick. And there's the wick, and that's it right there. So if it comes down, it could come up, retest this area. Especially on a higher time frame, you'll see a lot of activity there. If you look at a 1 minute chart in that area, you might see some. Let's see here.
Your 5 minute is a 15. Just in case.
Oh, my 5 minutes 15. Okay.
Yeah, in case you were looking for that for the
Yeah.
wedge.
Let's see if it. Well, it's still a wick over wick on that one as well. Let's see if it does anything on the 1 minute.
I think it's the upper blue L.
Oh, so yeah, it doesn't look right there. Yeah, you can see where here's the little. Here's the. You did get a little of a blue wick, blue candle in that area. This was the bottom. And this should be the top of the 15-minute wick right there. It did have a little bit of higher wick after that close, but that was because of the 15-minute bar close. But you can see that there is a little bit of an area like that right in here. Coming up, retesting our Fibonacci, the 1735 level, which is one thing that Janine was pointing out about the price. So a few minutes before the announcement coming up, and we have the crossover on the, but you see how much further away this is right now, the 62. And so it's not like it's all consolidating. Now, by the time the price gets up here and it goes sideways, this green and the yellow, we're going to come up and start looking at that, and then that'll be looking to see where it's either going to fail on the upside and move down, or it's going to break and move up and possibly retest this area right here. So right now I'm looking at this as a strong move down, and now it's coming up to, now if we look from a Fibonacci standpoint, the Fibonacci retracement standpoint that we often talk about, we come up with, from up here down to here, we want to see a pullback of somewhere between 23 and 38% retracement. Here's the 20, which is going to be right about in this area right here. Right there it would be, where this yellow line is, that'd be a 38% retracement. If it comes up, it hits that and fails, then the target zone would be down here with this area right in here, which is right inside of our demand zone and right by the green fib line. So I would say that if it does break, this would be a significant target to be looking at right in here. I don't know that's going to get down that low, but that would be the target if it does. And this is the area that we said that we want to enter on the close on the downside. It's also the same area to go short again if you're looking at continuing to take another position to the short. Came up, closed, can't break through it right now. All of our moving averages are still, if we get a green hook back and close below the yellow, and the RSIs are showing weakness, and the RCS tool is showing weakness. Now we would need to have $3, strong by 3. I would say this could be just a pullback. Comes up if it retests the 62. This is all just before the news announcement.
Is it a pretty significant news announcement? I missed it. I don't know what.
It's FOMC. It's
Oh, that's a big deal. Okay.
well, it's basically 10:30. The Fed chairman speaks. He testifies about something.
He does a lot of testifying, doesn't he?
Yeah, they all testify all kinds of things. And even whatever they say, I don't know how it affects the market. I just look at the market and see how it affects before and after the. I don't project it. I don't know whether whatever he's going to say is going to how it's going to affect it.
Yeah, I don't have the mental capacity to worry about what so and so says at what time or what they think, all the speculators and whatever else. I mean, I I can't do that and do technical analysis. I think I'm of the opinion right now that when you focus your energy on one thing, it works a lot better than trying to focus your energy on a whole bunch of things at once.
Yeah. Plus, I also feel that the technicals reveal what the announcement is going to be before the announcement happens. And you can usually see the effects of it before it. I mean, like we're seeing the effect of it already before the announcement happened. The big boys already took their positions or are getting their positions in. And then once the announcement happens, then they're going to be able to take their profits on the whatever move it makes. They will already have taken their profits.
I think it's more of a 50-50 go when people think that they're going to get the right side of the news, you know.
Yeah.
I
And they
just
say
people
they,
that make a science out of it for some of the major news and that those stinking squirrels. Sorry, guys.
well,
But yeah,
plus the large banks, they're doing they're looking at the fundamentals. They know pretty much what they have an idea what he's going to be saying, and they start taking positions, and they may actually get the news before we ever do.
oh yeah,
Even though
there's
they're not supposed to, they do.
yeah. Well, they've got their fingers on the pulse, right? They have to.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Us, we don't really need to sit with our finger on the pulse to get a small piece of the market. We just look for the right confirmations and the right trend line crosses.
Yep.
It's gonna make you money. Like you could trade trend lines exclusively and make money in the forex. It can take you a little while, but you could just do that. And after a while, you'll realize what trend lines and what candle formations and what doesn't work out often and what ones do. Um, when you have the wick over wick like that, however you want to explain it away, basically you got an impulsive move down. You're going to look for a correction, and then you're probably going to have you're going to look for consolidation that's going to create a wedge, and then you're probably going to have another move down just like we saw on Euro USD. That is very, very typical. That happens. The times where it reverses, you're going to see something a lot funkier happen. You're going to have a wedge, a little drop, a wedge. Maybe it's going to go up a little bit, and then you have another wedge. That could potentially mean a turnaround point on time frame. So there's only two types of wedges. There's a continuation, and there's a reversal. Either way, they're after seeing a lot of them, you'll be able to identify with pretty good accuracy if it's a continuation or if it's a reversal.
Right now, I'm looking for this thing to be a continuation. Once this thing comes back down, if we got the close below, it's pulling it back. But I'm going to put a sell stop right in here at the this yellow line, right where this thing closed down at 1729. I'll put a sell stop in. And if I'm right, it's going to come in and it's going to take it. If not, it's going to never hit it. Keep this down right about in here, right about where that close was. And that way, if it gets filled, this was a head. This could possibly be a head fake, but it's still come up. It's still testing this. This is a little bit like what happened earlier today, where it came back, broke the wedge, came back up, went pretty deep, and then came back, closed down below, and then took off to the downside. But right now I'm looking at this area right in here where we have a high, a low. See where that high goes? That's a higher, that's a little bit higher high, and then there's a little higher low. So here's a, now we'll see if this thing gets broken. Still a few minutes away from the announcement by 3 minutes.
3 minutes to go.
And if this thing breaks, I'm going to move this target down to the bottom of the main wedge, which we had earlier today. This could be I said this is in demo. I'm not taking this live because I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But I'm just going to show you the reaction of a announcement. I'm still inclined to think this thing's going to go short on the announcement. About 2 more minutes.
So you're going to see a nice little wedge form here. You already kind of see it, kind of a flat top, kind of ascending wedge on the 5-minute chart. It's going to go back down again. So maybe there's an opportunity for another sell in here, but you'd probably want it to pull back a little bit higher, because the higher the pullback into a sell, the more profit you can make. If you enter too early on a sell and you're not letting it pull back far enough, you're actually cutting your profits.
That's a good tip.
So we could actually take this A right up here to the top of where we drew that little wick over wick area.
Yeah, I actually like that spot. And I also like 1738 because I have a wedge. I got a trend. I got a pitchfork line going through there.
Here's the low right there.
So we're going up a little bit.
Yeah,
Watch it do. Go ahead.
No, Rajiv was saying he needs to go. Thank you. I'm just saying, see
Okay.
you later, Rajiv.
All right, bud.
All right,
See
later, friend.
everybody tomorrow. And so we're going to be done here in just a few more minutes. Here's the announcement coming in. You can see that it's taken off to the upside. Now it could take off the upside and then just come slamming right back down.
I think that's what's going to happen now. So 1737, 37 or 38 is where I got a really nice, strong trend line off of my pitchfork on there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a nice bounce where it's at now. If a person wanted to enter this one, they'd need probably a little bit bigger of a stop loss. So you'd have a smaller lot size, smaller position. A safe bet would be like 15 or 20 pips, because it could come up pretty big, but
Go to my 1 minute chart and see where if I get a reason to some consolidation. Here's the news. First minute, okay, came back up, got some more, took some more positions up here in our area to enter to close. This is the one coming down, came down, just retesting this area. We're starting to get the crossover of the 5 and the 13. The 62 held for the most part. It did break it, but it couldn't close above it. This is still pointing down, still consolidating into this area.
Hey, is Ruben still here? What's he? You take any more trades, Ruben? With whatever
Yeah, I
in the
am.
world you
And
were
no,
using?
I'm not.
Did you get your butt handed to you, or did you stop?
No, I
Oh,
just
okay,
stopped.
now.
I took I had 50 pips in total, so
Good.
that's nice.
50, good
And
for
then
you.
I even
Stop
took a
trading.
small loss of 5 pips because it went the wrong way.
That's okay. 5 pips is nothing when you got 50 in the bank.
Okay, I just got filled on this short. So the news announcement came up, got everybody in. Now it's taking everybody's stops and coming on down. This is oftentimes what happens with the news announcements. It goes in one direction real strong, and then it comes back in, and then what does it sucks everybody, and everybody's, oh, it's going to be a long, and they go and they jump in, where's their stop? It stops right down here, right where I got in.
Bingo.
Now the question is, will it continue on down? Let's see if we get a hook. Right now everything's short. My stop can be all the way up here now. If it goes above this red candle, then I'm going to be out of this trade. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get my target.
RCSs are really good.
Yep. Right now the dollar is still strong.
I always thought it was supposed to usually go the other way when there's news.
Well, usually it whipsaws. It takes real strong move in one direction, then goes real strong in the other direction. Coming down into our demand zone. If I move this thing up to here, where my profit would be 5 pips, I'm going to go for a little bit more than that. See if we can get a little bit more. Let's see if I can get it in the middle of this zone right here. See if I can get my 7 pips.
Go above the fib.
Just above the fib. I move my stop to break even, so I break even plus a little bit because I don't want to give it all back. Worst case scenario is I break even on it. There, I just got to stop back out. So right now it's right back into bounce right down to that demand zone. End of the trade. I said I was going for those extra 2 pips, and I just gave it all back, but I didn't lose anything on it.
Well, that's a good thing anyway.
Yeah. So having said all that, it's 10:30. It's the news announcements happened, and we just saw the reaction to it. Let's close up shop, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.
Thanks
All
again for
right,
being
take
here.
care, guys. Thank you so much, Jay.
Al,
Yes, Christine.
can you go in 888 if
I
you have a
can.
moment?
I can.
All right, thanks.